Monday went down, we're live on the air. Networking, collabing, good vibes everywhere. From manic to magic, we're turning it round. Grab your drink, let's wind it all.
Resellers unite, share wins and some fun. Recharge your week, the best has begun.
Vintage finds and stories to share.
Two old guys and friends who care.
Monday went down, come join the crew. Relax, connect, discover something new. From manic to magic, the best show in town. It's Monday night, let's wind it down.
First in the mornings, originally from the Bayou State of Louisiana.
I got my coffee, I got my dollars, and I'm looking for deals. Am I at the right place?
I say, here at Cajun Roots Reseller, you give me an offer and I'll take it.
Bless you, my child. Let me introduce myself. I'm Sister Mary Agnes. You may have heard about me from my friend Cajun Roots reseller, Johnny. I met Johnny many years ago when he was purchasing furniture from Frankie and Johnny's in Louisiana. They were not going to give him credit, and I vouched for him. I said, let him have it with no problem. He's got the dollars. See the special man.
Let him have it with no
You got the
problem.
dollars, go see Johnny, he's got it all. Let him have it with no problem. See the special man.
Hello, I'm Johnny's Dough Girl. I'm here to say subscribe, hit the bell, not my belly button, and share out his shows. Always give him a thumbs up. You can even become a member, buy him a coffee, and follow his other channels like the cooking shows, my favorites, his fur babies, and more. Leave a comment, and when you watch a video, you're showing him your support.
Hi, I was looking for some jewelry. I'm going to be getting married soon. No, I don't have any credit.
Well, here at Cajun Roots Reseller, if you own a fixed income, even if it's on a sale in the Cajun Roots Reseller eBay store, guess what? Send an offer. We'll let you have it with no problem.
Johnny has many auctions, chat shows, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and all are welcome. But there's no drama or negativity tolerated on any of his channels. Now go, child, with my blessings. Watch Cajun Roots Reseller. Love always. Be kind to one another, and have a blessed day.
First in the mornings, originally from the Bayou State of Louisiana. Here at Cajun Roots Reseller, you make me an offer and I'll take it. You got the dollars, go see Johnny, he's got it all. Let him have it with no problem, see the special man.
See the special man.
You got the dollars, make me an offer. New England Cajun roots, Johnny understands.
Johnny understands.
Let him have it with no problem, see the special man. Let him have it with no problem, see the special man.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to episode 5 of our Wind Down Monday. And today we have a special guest, and that's Regina, Red Arrow Resell. If you're
Hey.
looking to get into antique boots, this is the show for y'all today. We are hoping you can have any questions, ask us in the chat. As far as I know, all of us do have booths of some kind, whether it's multiples or just one, or in some cases, maybe just one, but you never know. So we'll get those answered for you today. That's our topic of the night. If you have any specific show you would like to have a topic on, make sure you reach out to myself or Mark, and we'll be glad to add you to our list and lineup of guests for Monday night. So with that being said, let's go ahead and tell some people hello that's in the chat. And first we have Jennifer. Hello, good morning, and welcome. And that's right, our morning boost tomorrow morning. And the rapid fire round will be tomorrow starting at 12:30. And that's for members of the channel. Remember, you do not have to be a member to be in the chat. You do not have to be a member to purchase. You just need to be a member to be on the panel. There's Two Old Guys Resells a live show for this coming weekend. There's Regina's link. Make sure you check her out. Her information is also in the description bar below. And if you have any questions and you want to reach out to her, her email is there as well. And there's Regina in the chat, and Ashley. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And Ryan, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are you doing? Good to see you.
Ryan.
And Lou, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And little Debbie, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And Tanya, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are you doing? Good to see you. And Randy, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are y'all doing? And little Debbie says, I am at the right place. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
You are at the right place. Heather, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are you doing? Good to see you.
Hey,
Looking
Heather.
for a new fiance. The last one wouldn't buy me any jewelry. Ain't that something? Oh, put a bit of
Yeah,
curve.
you've kicked him to the curb, Debbie.
That's right. That could be the best thing that ever happened. And Aunt Boo, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are you?
Hey, Aunt Boo.
Great to have you here. You're probably in the pickup line, right, for your children at school. No physical booth here, but my house. Yeah, you're right about that one. Thank you, Johnny. I'm back home. Also, you had a great, awesome. I was wondering, somebody else was saying they went to some show this weekend, but I can't remember who it was. And Jeffrey, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are you doing? Good to see you.
Jeffrey.
Free.
Good this afternoon. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. So again, we're going to be talking about diversifying your income, whether it be if you're a reseller and you happen to be on any platform. This is just another way. It is, I guarantee you, it is a lot of work. It's just something you just put there.
Yes, it is.
So you do have to do some work into it. And we'll even show you some examples. Regina and I were talking the other day, and she's got a lot of different pictures of different things that she does at her location. Mark, I believe you have a glass case.
I do, and I even have a picture.
Awesome. And we'll be sharing those with you, by the way. And I also have, on my first location, I have 2 locations that I have booths in. In one of them, I will show you, I have 2 small video clips. I cannot find the actual pictures, which I think is on a separate hard drive, which is fine because I will talk more about that and why I closed down one of those out of my first location. I've been doing this for over 5 years. We'll talk a little bit more about how you can get into doing that and what's the best way to find out would be the best place to go to. I'll even talk a little bit about my strategy and how I picked a place and how I picked my booth area that I wanted. Again, a lot of times you do have to get your feet in the door before you can even get anywhere, any place. But we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. We'll get some questions in for y'all as well. And Robin, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are you doing? Good to see you. So first what we'll do is we'll get started with Regina. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and we'll talk a little bit first of the first question I'll start you with is, how did you get started and why?
How did I get started and why? Well, when I retired in 2018 from the Department of Corrections.
Yes, she can put you in a headlock and hurt you. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you know.
And Carol's not here to testify about maybe using handcuffs if she had to.
Yeah, I put a few handcuffs on some people before. Anyway, so when I was retiring, I was looking to diversify my income because I was going to lose about
I talked too fast. There's Carol.
Carol. She was lurking in the background.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, Carol, I can slap some handcuffs on you.
Welcome, Carol.
Anyway, so I wanted to add back to my income because I was going to lose 25% when I retired.
Right.
Just the way it was. So I looked at my husband. I'm like, what if we started buying and selling stuff? And he's like, okay, because we always loved going to garage sales and stuff like that. So I said, well, we can look at getting a booth somewhere. So we did. We started that after his stint in the hospital for my first month of retirement. So about 6 months later, we started going to some auctions, buying some stuff, and we went to Columbia, Missouri, and they have a big antique mall. It's called Midway. It's out on I-70.
Was
So
just there.
yeah, we applied and we got us a small booth, and we started from there. And that was 7 years ago.
Oh,
We were
wow.
there for about 4 years, but we had a little crossing out with the previous manager that was there, and we weren't getting along with her. And then I spent 9 weeks in the hospital after I had my gastric bypass, so I got really sick with it. So my husband couldn't keep up with everything with our, because then we were also selling on eBay,
Uh-huh.
so he couldn't keep up with everything. So when I got out of the hospital, we're like, let's just close it. I couldn't work on it right at the time because I was the main person working on it, and so we closed that one down. And so a few years went by. We were just doing eBay online and stuff like that. So I'm like, I want another booth. Well, some friends of us had told us about this one here in Lynn, Missouri. So we're like, let's go check it out. And we liked it. So we applied to see if they had a small space, and we got us a little $50 booth, and it happened to be in the main hallway, which was a good prime location. So we started with that. And then I kept bugging the owners. I said, hey, give me a job. I'll work here for you. I'll start on the weekends, just help y'all out. And I started it voluntary first and just worked on the weekends. And then finally it slowly worked into pretty much a full-time, part-time position. And I've
Awesome.
expanded and expanded. So, and I do pretty well here.
Okay. And so, Mark, what got you started into getting into an antique booth?
Well, I was fighting it tooth and nail. Okay. Um, Michael's mom um, was an antique dealer here in Kansas City, and um, there was a place, the Waldo Galleria, I think is what it was called. Um, Now, I don't ever remember meeting her. However, I could have when I went in there.
Mm-hmm.
They are a lot of work. And Michael and I him-hawed about it. We started the eBay in 2019 when eBay was doing all of its changes. And the one thing that we we're in Elsie Bells, which is at 23rd and Chris Chrysler Avenue, which is fairly, I mean, we're within 2 miles of the place. Always gotten along famously with the people that work there. Same people, nice people, got to be friends with the owner, and I will go ahead and show, we have a case. I didn't even want anything larger than that
Uh-huh.
because you have to work it.
Yep.
Uh, can you see that?
Well, it's a single. It looks like it's getting out of focus. Raise it up a little bit. There you go, right there.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a single case. Or is it one double door?
It's double doors.
Okay.
And so this case came up available, and Michael had always said, if we're going to do anything like this, we want that case.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it came up, and Michael and I talked about it, and it's like, well, we know we can fill it up. So when it came available, I just went up to Tom, the store manager, and I said, we want that case. Actually, I don't want the case, but we're getting that case. Um, and so I came home, and I'm going to tell you one of my pet peeves is that when you're in somebody's booth or, case like this, you can never read. The tags are upside down. You can't see the price of them, blah, blah, blah. So I take the extra time. I put tags on it and I make sure I've got my dyno downstairs and I have what the item is, my booth number, and the price, and it's on both sides of that tag. So when I fold the label around it, it doesn't matter how that tag lays, you can see it.
I like that.
That's just my anal retentivity.
There's nothing wrong with that. Because a lot of times, even though you may want to make sure all the tags are facing one way, it's all it takes is for somebody to go in there to look at something and they open the case. Because in my case, I have one that's a glass case, but it's locked. So they have to ask for the key. But when they put it back, you never see the tag return till like I left it. So yeah,
Right.
I understand what you're saying. Claudette,
And
hello,
that
good afternoon.
and that was the other thing. Yeah, we could lock it. The lock is there. It's behind the desk. But if we go to put jewelry in it, which we have not done yet, I think we've had this 2 years now. I know it's been over a year, but if we put jewelry in it, the lock will definitely be put on there.
Right. Hello, Cheryl. Welcome. Let's see. Little Debbie. Cheryl, my thing is because I'm short, seems like all good stuff is always on a higher. And actually, most of the stuff in the antique booths are not that high unless somebody puts it up higher. Because in my case, I can put something on top of the case, but I don't. Because to me, I find it's too high. But I don't put anything above my case. It's all within the case. So in my situation, I actually started in one place where I kept putting my name down. No one ever called me. So what I did was I went to this one place. It's called the Oh My Gosh Antiques and Collectibles. It's an old cedar mill. And I went in there, and what I did was I would start going in there. Like if I would go 1 week, I would go on a Monday because my place where I'm at is open 7 days a week from 10 to 5, 11 to 5. And if I am in as a booth, I can go in at 10 when the people get there. But however, getting in there, I would go in every day. I would go a different day of the week. So if I started on a Monday, the next week I would go on a Tuesday. Then I would go at a different time to kind of see what would be the busiest days, but also what area of that antique place was the busiest, or where did most people tend to go. So what I did was I started in a corner shelving unit. It was $35 a month, so I filled it up. What was nice about it, I was able to put stuff on the side walls of these cases, of the bookcases, that I can use. There was hooks already there, so I used them as much as I could. And then a smaller booth size came available, and I got that one. So then I had both of those for a while. But then a bigger one came open. So what I did was I downsized from the two small ones and got a bigger one. And with that one, I'm going to show you what that one looked like because I stopped using this one only because, and I thought I had it open. I thought I did. Only because of the fact that when they went to renew the price again, they kept going up on the price. It was time for me to get out of there because it was way too much. It was getting to be too much for that. So I stopped using it. So I just got out of that one last month on the 15th. But again, you do have to realize that a lot of times it's not always going to be easy to keep up a certain size booth. Granted that the money was good. There was a lot of months there was nothing, but that is typically like your summer days. When I first started, the hardest thing about it was when I started in 2019, pandemic started. So we even had a thing where they would take and do porch pickups where we would share our booths on Facebook. And if anybody wanted to purchase anything, they were able to go call and pay for it and buy it, and then they would come in and pick it up out of a locker on the porch. So sometimes you have to go with the flow sometimes. And then I turn around and close the larger of the two boots, and I still have a glass case. And I'm going to pull those up in a little bit. But one of the things I always recommend, if you decide to do this, no matter where the location is, there may be several places that you are interested in. Location is a big thing, but go in and look and see. Look around, see what's available, see what their prices are. In some cases, like in my situation, I pay a flat a booth price, and it comes off of my sales. And at the end of the month, in my case, I can only go close it out on the 7th of each month, and then whatever I sold, the rent comes off of that, and I get what's left. Now, in some places, they even charge you depending on the booth. If it's a closed in with a door and windows or things like that, or a room, they do charge you a percentage of your sales, the rent, and a percentage of the credit cards that are being used per transaction. So you got to make sure you look at all of that. In the place I'm in, I cannot have I cannot have clothing, I cannot have furniture, and I cannot have appliances. Those are some of the stipulations. So you got to make sure you look at all of that. What can you and cannot have in any of those locations to hinder you from not having a booth? In your case, Regina, what are some of the things that you have in your area different than anyone else? And I think you have several booths in your location, correct? Or locations
Right.
within the location.
Right. I do. I have, basically, I have, I'm going to say 7 booths, if you want to call them that. This location is unique in that um, your space is kind of customizable, depending on what we have available.
Mhm.
So here they only charge you $2 a square foot, um, and that's floor space, not wall space. So however much floor space you use, that's what they charge. They don't charge a commission off your
Right.
sale. So you just pay your monthly rent. But then we have a computerized system that's cloud based that we use to track your inventory. So you input it from your home or from a smartphone, a tablet, whatever you get can access the internet. And
Right.
then when they come to the mall, then we print their labels. So unfortunately, Mark, we can only print unless they wanted duplicates. We only print one label, and it's not very big. So I think it's a 1.5 inch by 1 inch tag. So it's
Yeah.
not very big. And
Like I said, that's me.
and I completely understand because we get a lot of people that come up. I can't see the tag on it. It's probably on the bottom of it or something. If it's in a glass case, so we got to
Right.
open it.
And
pull it
putting stickers on things, sorry.
But
I know.
I find sometimes though if they stick the sticker to the item, it's harder for the person to pull it off to switch the tags.
Yeah.
So if you got the hang tags or if they're just paper clipped to something, we've had people that have taken lower priced items, something, and put it on something higher priced. And if it's not described accurately, we won't know.
Right.
So I said,
Yeah.
just the 2 owners and myself that work here. So there's just 3 of us, but it's 27,000 square feet. It's an old school building. So it is rather big. The only place we're not utilizing for rentable space is the gym. And the owner is working on, because he's got all of his storage in there right now, but he's working on getting at least half of the gym usable for maybe consignment stuff. So, but we have everything from antiques to new stuff. So it's called an antique mall and flea market. So we have both. We have clothing, we have new clothing, we have old clothing, we have anything. If you can't find it here, maybe it don't exist.
Because in mine we have the new one I'm at. It's called TNT Co-op, so it's a mixture of everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of people that come in. We were looking for antiques. Well, if you got to think about it, 2000 was 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're approaching vintage on there. 1980s, was 40 years ago.
Right.
So 1970s, 50 years ago. So anything 1970s before is vintage and older. So, some people are like, they're not, that doesn't, they just flabbergasted that 2000 was 25 years ago. that's halfway to vintage if you consider vintage 50 years and older. Like me.
Yeah.
I'm vintage now.
But also, every place is different, so you always got to make sure you find out what they have and what's available and what you can and can't have. That's a big
Right.
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
we
hate.
do have
See,
other.
now ours, uh, I pay $72 a month, and they take 10% of whatever our sales are.
Yep, that's where
I
I'm at.
I am absolutely amazed at the prices that I'm hearing all over the United States, like Massachusetts. Even, I mean, there is, oh, I'm going to call it a flea market. They've got a few antiques or collectibles, but they're charging almost $400 for an 8x8.
I was paying 275, and they went up to 350. So that's why I got out of the one I was in, because that was a 12 by 20, 12 by 30 size I had. So yeah, I got out of that one. It was too much. They kept going up on the price.
Yeah, now so
I
yeah,
just
when I
got
was
out of
in Columbia at Midway Antique Mall, when I at one point I had two booths. One was a 10 by 10, and one was an 8 by 6. I think I was paying about. I'm thinking around $600 to $700 a month. One was 400, and I think the other one was 2 or 3. So yeah, it was very expensive up there. So,
Yeah.
but here, like I said, I get a break on my rent because I do work here. But um, I have, like I said, expanded, and I do very well. I do anywhere, I'm going to say 500 to about $1,200 a month, just depending on the month.
Okay.
Summer goes down a little bit.
Right.
Of course, right now during the fourth quarter has picked up, so I've done quite well.
I want to say hello to a few people real quick. Cheryl, yes, that's where I'm at in Sterling. That's one of the places. The only thing I have now is a glass locked case. But they are pretty good at. There's always somebody on the floor. Also, Nana Tink, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are you
Hey,
doing? Good
Nana
to see
Tank.
you. And let's see, everybody's saying hello. Melinda, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. How are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. I got to remember names because they got the handles in the chat now, so I got to be careful when I'm looking. Make sure I don't miss anybody because of that. Let's see, Heather. Any tag should have items numbers. Yeah, what we do on ours, the ones I use is a 2 3/4 by a 1 7/16 size tags. And then what we do is we have to have our booth number, an item number, which I put everything on the invoice, a spreadsheet, and they're pretty big. So you can put a lot on here and then a small description and the price. And that's what I do because they tear these off when somebody goes to the register. So
Yeah. That's
that's pretty good. Yeah.
and I type mine out like on the dyno.
Yeah, and
Uh,
TNT Co-op, I've been posting it on Facebook. My new booth there is on there, and it's a TNT Co-op in Athol, Massachusetts. It's in Athol. Scooter Renee, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. So I just recently moved, and I'll show the way I did this new place. I got there. My first booth was in February at the end of the month that I was able to start on in March 1st. And it just so happened that Mia, Crazy May Stash, and I had our booth back to back when I met her there. That's when I was able to get. Yeah, that's in Athol, Massachusetts. Yeah, there's crazy prices all over the place. Now, also, I know for a fact in Illinois, in Rockford, my sister in laws have a booth at their location, but they're grandfathered in. One of the sisters still works there as part of her rent. Some places allow that. So you get a percentage off on your rent for working there, as well as you do have to have like certain amount of floor hours and stuff like that on your days off and stuff like that too. So they do usually work on the weekend there. Old school mall.
So I can use the hang tag. Some items, I don't want to put a sticker on. And
Right.
this is what our, you can see,
well, those are nice.
those
Okay.
are our little tags. So that's got my, over here, it's got my booth number, and then it's got an item number, which the system just assigns it. And this is my description. And then it gets this little barcode that we scan
So they assign each of your items its own number. That's pretty cool.
Right, yeah, it does. So the only thing, like I said, it automatically, the only thing I have to put in here is this description and then my price. And it's a web-based system. It's called Simple Consign. You can look it up. I mean, there's lots of booths that do it. And like I said, this way we don't have to type in every tag.
Right.
You know, all we got to do is put in this little, scan this barcode right here. Or if the barcode won't scan because it's like faded or something, then we just got to type in the little numbers underneath.
Oh,
And
that's
it
cool.
automatically populates it in our system.
Yeah, the
So
place
that's
I'm at, it's all everything's by hand. They don't do nothing by computer.
that's why Midway was. Yeah, Midway was at that, where they had to, whatever you wrote on your tag, that's what, they had to type that all in the system. So when I was at Midway, of course I did, I put everything on a spreadsheet. I gave it an item number and everything and tracked it that way. This way, since I moved here because I have so much stuff, I don't. So I look at it as something disappears, it's going to be something small. And I usually don't worry about it because it's paid for.
This is another example of the two different places I'm at. In Sterling, there's no cameras, so it's all they don't guarantee anything if it's stolen or misplaced. But the new place I'm at, everywhere you turn, there's security cameras. One of the things I like about it is the new booth where I'm at, there's a security camera right above my booth. And when you first walk in, there's a big old huge monitor that shows you every camera in the place. So you're on camera when you're in there. So I don't have a problem with this new place. And I've been there since the mid-February. And it's been great.
Is working on, getting more cameras in. He does have some, and then we also have the magnetic security tags. He's got they're at the beginning, at the entrance. We only have one entrance and out. Now there is an exit, but I mean, that's only for, emergencies.
Right.
But, so at the entrance and exit, he does have the two magnetic, like Walmart does. So if you want to buy a sheet of those, or you go buy your own off Amazon, you can put the magnetic security tags on your items.
Right.
So that way, if they go out the door and they go off, we'll at least know something was stolen, and, if it is. But the only problem we've run across is there's been some old types of bottles or something, like ceramic bottles, or not ceramic, but they're like the clay bottles. They have demagnetized them. It's whatever, something that's in that clay, them old clay bottles or something, it demagnetized them. But,
wow.
they've worked really well, and if something is stolen out there, it's been very, very minimum, but it can happen. Like I said, we don't have cameras everywhere, but we do have them at the entrance. We've got them in, where they're seeing in the main hallway, working on putting in more. Like I said, he's a single owner, him and his wife own it. And it's me that worked there. So we try our best to, monitor everybody, but like I said, you can't.
Right.
And, we always tell people that theft will happen. So you might want to put, some kind of insurance on your items in case it's an expensive item that could get broken, could get, if someone doesn't fess up to something getting broken. And
well, that's what's good about also, this is me. Every month I will print out, and I even showed this to the person who I work, where I have my booth at, and I just dropped it. I keep an invoice, a spreadsheet. So when I get my invoice of what's sold, I highlight it in yellow, and then I put the date that it's sold. And if I'm running a 10% off, or if anybody, like if we as vendors can get 10% off on somebody else's booth items, then I'll write here if it's a 10% off. So I know that it's sold for less for a 10%. So I use a spreadsheet for that. And then I highlight it in yellow when I'm done and sold for that, whatever day it's sold on. Because I do this every month. Yes, I know it's a lot of work. But one of the reasons I do this is for two reasons, actually. One, I'm cleaning off every piece because, of course, it gets dusty. And I'm moving things around and changing places when I'm going through my inventory, making sure, and whatever's missing, 9 times out of 10 should be on my sold list of what's sold for the month. That's just the way I do things. But for example, I'm going to show you, and when we talked in reference to getting your feet in the door, I'm going to share my screen and show you what I started with by just talking. Me and I had talked one day, and I went in, and his name is Tony, who owns the place. He also is a firefighter. So he does have people working there for him, but his people who actually have a booth are his girlfriend. So right now I'm going to show you where I started. In this booth I'm going to show you, I actually did not know exactly until I met Mia here that day. Her booth was right behind mine. All right, so here's where I started with this little one shelf right here. Then I was able to use the top shelf as well. And then right behind this shelf is on the other side is a double shelf, was Mia's shelf. So her and I were back to back. Then another booth came open, and then I got this one. Of course, it's filled. Then I went to this booth next. So this one is a little bit bigger, longer, but the shelves were shorter. But I also had this backboard I can use. So I was able to use the backboard. I can use the fence back here. And then I was able to hang stuff on there. And I was able to use this little corner piece right here also as well. So that was my second booth. I went, and from February, March, and in April, this came open, and I was able to move in May. And then in this month, I just moved out of this one in the end of this month. And then I went to this one. This one now is a bigger booth. Now I have this wall here. These shelves I actually took out of my old booth that I had in Sterling and moved them here. Now I even have a wall I can hang stuff on, and I have a plug-in that I can put lamps in. So all this is my new booth. And then here's the other pictures. I took different angles. I have a nice little display table here. I got another whole fence I can use here. Then I have this side that I took a double cube shelf, so I can use both sides. I'm using the top here for other things here. And then this is a clothes rack that I'm using on both sides of the shelves here for open cubes here and hanging clothes here. And I have a shelf at the top I can use and still use the back wall here. And then, of course, here's the other view of it. Whereas you see, this is the back side of my clothes rack. As you see, this is when I started filling it up this past weekend. And then I have things on both sides of the cubes here and here. And then I have all these shelves and all that wall right here. And this is where you first walk in. I'm right here in that walk-in back room right here. So that's why I just moved into, knowing that you can start at a small shelf. It's all you do. That's all you got to do is actually get in first. Get a small shelf somewhere. See if you like it. But now I can do bigger things in this booth because now I have more floor space and more space that I can put bigger things as well. And then there's a wall right on the other side where I'm at that I can use as well because it's a free for all. That if I want to add more hanging stuff and things like that. And then, of course, more stuff on the walls. So that's what I like about it. And then, of course, the clothes rack, I can even hang hooks, like Christmas hooks from Christmas tree hooks, and hang things on the little top because there's little rack holes on the top of that closing rack. So you got to be creative. You got to use the space you get and make the best of it. Now, I just moved in there 2 weeks ago. I started moving into this one. And at the end of last month, I was able to move everything out of my other shelving booth to this one, which I like because now it's bigger. And it's not as much more. I was paying $65 for the white shelf. And then I went from $65 to this new booth here that's $127. And it's bigger. So I'm paying $127 for that one.
See, that doesn't sound bad at all.
It's not. It's not. And I love it. And the lady who was there had to get out because of her assisted living. Be more worried about the booth items getting broken or stolen. And believe it or not, they're pretty good at it. I'm knock on wood. I've not had anything broken. Now there has been some things that were missing, but then we have a little section, shelf, where if something's not misplaced or put into somebody else's booth, as long as it's still in the store, you know it's going to get sold. But sometimes I'll find things out of other people's booths and mine. I'll just bring it to their booth because the number's on the tag. So, yeah. I don't worry about it because of the fact that you can always write it off as a loss on your taxes. At Hometown, we make our customers pay for the broken items. And again, I don't have any problems with that so far. What about y'all?
I think Debbie and Tom, if a customer breaks it and they admit that they break it or they bring it to the attention, I think Debbie and Tom have the customer pay for it.
Okay. Hello, Lin Lin.
I haven't lost anything to theft that I know of.
You saw that, Nana Tank? I actually bought that from Nana Tank from one of her auctions, and it's in my antique booth.
Okay.
When she said, I spy an acrylic cheese keeper, that's exactly where it was from Nana Tank. And Janine, hello, good afternoon, and welcome, and how are you doing? Good
Hey,
to see
Jen.
you. And Carol was able to come and meet us 2 weeks ago, where we did a meetup at the antique mall at TNT. And you can find me on Facebook where I tag my booth in the pictures that they do daily at TNT on Facebook. One of the things I'm getting ready to do that I like, that I just found out, is I can actually tag things in my booth, put it on Facebook Marketplace, and put the address to where they can go and buy it, which I like. So that's
So
pretty
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
here at Old School, if a customer admits to breaking something, we ask that they pay for it. And then
Well, and you should. If you break something, you should pay for it.
you know, and like I said, if we find that it's something that's in the store, they didn't admit to it, we just tell the vendor, hey, we found your item, it was broken. We've trashed it because the owners, they do have an apartment here at the school, and they let their guard dog out at night, so they don't want his feet to get cut. So we try to clean it up, any glass or anything like that. But like
And
I
if
said,
I was to be in any place and I broke something, I want to pay for it because, again, it was an accident.
right.
But not everybody's like that, though. Because I found some things that people had in their booth that were broken that somebody just put there.
And that does happen. We've found stuff that's just been broken, and we don't know who broke it. Like I said, we can't watch everybody.
Yes, Nana Tink does have her own channel, and she does auctions on her channel. So make sure y'all following Nana Tink.
I've
She
bought
also
some
does,
from Nanny
she also
Tink.
does live shows with the
January
January
House.
House, Mike. Yep, she also does shows with Mike. The January House.
And Angie Reese.
Check out Nana Tink. I buy all kind of stuff from her, and yes, it winds up mostly in my booth. And that's another thing. My reasons for doing things in my booth is because, for example, Regina, you buy storage units as well, right?
I've bought storage units. We bought at auctions.
And for me, sometimes the bigger items that I don't want to actually worry about getting lowballed on different platforms, I put them in my antique booth and they sell faster. Like antique sewing machines that have wooden cases. I was told when I first started with my antique booth, don't put that in your booth. It's never going to sell. It took less than 3 weeks from the time I put it in that booth for that person to tell me that. She came back looking for it the next month, and I told you it was going to sell, and it sold because I had it for almost $325, and it sold for full asking price. Girl, don't tell me what I can and can't put in my booth. Who are you?
Right.
I had a feeling she was trying to put one in her booth and didn't want me to compete against her. Girl, you get your own booth. Come on, girl. I agree with accents, and they do happen. Yeah.
Oh,
But again, it could be a child, it could be an adult that had a big purse on her hip and accidentally hit it. You never know. Awesome. Yeah, definitely subscribe to each other. So let me ask you this. Is there anything in your area? Because I know at my TNT, the new place I'm at, there is no restriction. Whereas in my first place, we can't have certain things like furniture, appliances, clothing. There's a list of things we cannot have. Are there anything in your booths that y'all cannot have in your location?
yes. We ask that no alcoholic beverages because we don't have a liquor license. I don't even care if it's in a collectible bottle. It cannot have any alcohol in it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So we ask no large items because it's just the three of us that work there. They are older. So, if it's something that somebody's going to have trouble picking up, we can't help them pick up. We ask that, no large appliances, no large tires, no, things like that, unless they're antique something another. But they're going to have to bring somebody to help pick that stuff up because
Right.
now if they have room in their booth for furniture, they're more than welcome because I finally sold a china cabinet the other day, but it's been sitting in my booth for 3 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I finally sold it. I lowered the price down to $40. I'm just like, make it going. Of course, I only paid $150 for the storage unit, so I was okay. I made my money on that storage unit.
And Regina, you
Yeah.
got a comment right here from Nana Tink. And Nana Tink, I think I've done the same thing too, but I've always been a reseller. But I've noticed that Regina did that with us too. She was a supporter of everybody.
Oh,
And now
absolutely.
look at her. Wow, she's selling. And she
Selling
just started in July.
She's having to get rid of all the stuff that she bought from us.
All of us, yeah. And she
well,
just
some of
started doing that
that,
in July, reselling. So yeah,
a lot of that's ended up in my booth. Some of it I still have. Some of it
yep.
I use for personal use.
But again, if you decide to do this and be more diverse into other ways of selling stuff, this will be a great opportunity to get rid of things, especially if they're antique, depending on where you get to find a location. And then put those things in there because you can even run a sale. If there's something that's been in your booth for a while and you want to get rid of it, run a sale. You can do periods where there's certain holidays or events that you can run a sale with and get rid of some of the older inventory so you can put new inventory in. But I know for a fact this is a lot of work because you want to make sure you go in there and dust your booth, move things around. Don't leave it in the same spot because there is some people that are in like my location at in Sterling, Massachusetts, called Oh My Gosh. There's a guy who goes in there every week looking to see if I put more new Fenton in that booth because that's what he comes in there every weekend for. So not only do I move my booth around in the glass booth, but I also bring new Fenton stuff or glass stuff because of that. So do you find that in your booths? Let's go with Mark first. Do you find anything in your booth that definitely moves faster or more quicker than any other items?
No. Our no, it's the weird stuff that sells.
Yeah. And what about you, Regina?
I think right now my DVDs probably are the ones that move the fastest because I price them cheap. Of course, I got them cheap, but you know, that's one thing that we move a lot of. But I have such a variety. The only thing I don't have is clothing in my booth yet. So I'm all hard goods right now in my booth. So I can share some pictures.
Yeah, and that's why I just started this booth with that rack because I wanted to bring some clothing in. All of what I brought in there is either vintage or new with tags. Scooter Renee says we do an annual $1 day with putting some items in your booth with a bright ticket on it for $1, but getting the customers into your booth because they might buy other things other than that are not marked $1. I like that.
That is nice.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Anything we have here, it's a variety. Anything from 25 cents to hundreds of dollars, just depending on what they.
Oh, really, Nana? I didn't know that.
So, like I said, I just showed these earrings. I was pricing them for $1.10. Oh, there we go, $1.10. Just because I want to move some earrings.
Right.
And I said $1.10 because if someone uses a credit card or debit card, I get charged that 3% fee off the credit card fee. We don't charge the customers. The vendor gets charged that. So it comes off my sale. So I know some places they charge the customer for using a credit card or debit card. But here they decided we're charging the vendor. It's coming off your sale. So
well, we at TNT, it's cash only. And there's an ATM if somebody needs to get cash. But at Oh My Gosh Antiques and Collectible, the owner pays the credit card.
Here they decide, the vendor will, gets that 3% to come off their sale.
We don't get charged the
Yep, that's why it's invested. Move things around. Go ahead, Mark.
We always tell our vendors move stuff around because what most people see, just like going to your grocery store, everything eye level. They see stuff eye level. They don't look up. They don't look down. So move your stuff around. Put it up high one day, come down, a week or so later, put it down low. Put it in the middle, on your shelving. Move it around, dust it, because we have regulars that come in daily or weekly, and they're always, if they see that their booth is not changing, they will say, I'm not looking at that one because it's the same old crap.
Yep.
Exactly. Whether it might be good stuff, but it's not what they're looking for. So that's all.
It's so funny you say that because a lady, when I was putting my booth together on the new location that I have now, the new one, a lady was going around and it happened to be the lady who got out of the booth I was getting. Okay. And she says, wait a minute, these brooches look familiar. I said, yeah. She says, yeah. Weren't you on that other corner way in the front over there? I said, yep, that's me. So, yeah. It is best to move things around. But his name is Almar. We charge the vendor the card fee, not the customer. To encourage.
Yeah.
Yeah, we the owner of oh my gosh, where I'm at there, they pay for the credit card fees. Unless you have a booth that specifies that you as the vendor will be charged a percentage of your sales, the booth rent, and a percentage of the credit card fees. Moving stuff around, I can't it right to me. And just like when you go into a grocery store, what is the first thing you noticed every time you go to a grocery store? The end caps are always different, right? You got to think the same way. You got to start thinking of things and moving things around because you may have somebody who did not see anything at the bottom row, but they see everything in that middle, like Regina said, the eye level. So you want to move your stuff around, whether it's up, down, side, wherever. But when you're doing that, it's easier that way because then you also can dust everything, move things around. When you're adding new stuff, put that new stuff in those areas within what you had there originally and move it around. That's the best thing to do. It gets them looking.
And then be creative with your displays.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not a matter of just slap it on. You know, you could try to do a vignette if you want to try to do a vignette. You know, but just make it cohesive. You know, not just haphazardly thrown in there. We've had some people that have, that we finally got away, but they would just come in, they'd put their stuff there, and it was crap. I'm sorry, it was really.
Another thing
And
that
it looks like crap too. I don't
Yeah.
even bother messing with.
They didn't dust it. I mean, there might be a layer of dust on everything, and they didn't come and clean it. When you mentioned it to them, they're like, they go in there with, and maybe wipe it off for 5 seconds. I'm done with this and leave.
No, not me.
Their stuff never sold, and their stuff never sold.
But also, what you want to do too is when you're doing this, don't clutter your booth. There's a lot of places where I don't even go into their little cube or their little square because you can't even walk around what's in the center. It's so cluttered, and I'm afraid to walk around it because of the fact it's so cluttered. Don't.
Yeah.
And again, there's a way you can still put more stuff in your booth without it looking cluttered. Organizing. That's the way I look at things. I am cursed. I'm cursed to see what commercial fees someone pays. Yeah,
Oh, Susie.
it is collecting dust. It must be too long. Yeah, you're right about that. But again, some places do get dustier more than others because when I was moving my stuff around at the Oh My Gosh Antiques, I had to go every other week because it was so thick and dust in there all the time that I'm constantly having to dust and move things around. Susie, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to all of you who have a booth in addition to being on YouTube live shows. Do you find you're working more after retiring than before? If you enjoy it and profitable, I guess that'd be all that counts. Regina, that'd be more to you because you're retired.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm actually busier now than when I was working full time. Of course, I work part time here at the Antique Mall. I work about 26 hours a week, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. Now I'm doing the YouTube thing, plus my booth, plus eBay, and then I cross post everywhere else. So I actually find, I'm busier now, but I am living life. I am enjoying this, more than
Also, you're in control, so you get to put the time that you want into it. You got the time. I don't want to feel like going today. Like for today on Mondays, the place on TNT is closed on Mondays. They open every other day, every day except Monday. So I know I ain't got to go over there on Monday. Usually I go on Sundays. If I don't go on Sundays, I go on Tuesday. The reason I go on Sundays is because I don't have to pay for parking in the front of it. I'm just cheap like that. I ain't gonna pay for parking unless I have to. But on Sundays, there's no parking meeting. You don't have to pay for the parking. So I go on Sundays and do my thing. Bring things in, dust everything, and I tag everything here before I bring it with a picture. That's another thing. I take a picture of everything I put a tag with when it's on my inventory list. That's just me. That way, if something comes up missing, I'll have a picture and a tag to go with it, just for my insurance. That's what I do.
Yeah, I can always recommend take pictures of if you put a booth up, take pictures of your booth so that way you know what items you have in it. So that way, if something does come up missing and has not been sold, you'll know what it looks like. And we can be looking for it. If it could be just picked up and sat down somewhere else. People are notorious for that. They will pick it up and they will walk around and they'll find something else similar or just like it but cheaper or something in another booth. So they'll just set it down and pick up the other item.
Exactly.
That's Michael with his phone.
We've
Kim.
and keys before, but
Ryan. Let's see if you enjoy, and you have to enjoy what you're doing, but then you have to also be adventurous. You also have to be more creative, doing things that you can do in your booth where it's your display. You know, you're putting everything on display. And it says yes, you have to think to follow the traffic of your customers. Yeah, exactly. You have to. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work, but the rewards is more better than just not doing it at all. You know, not trying.
Yeah,
Uh,
the couple of years that after we closed our first booth, and then before we moved to and got our booth here, I missed it because then I was staying at home more often, and at least with, you know, my booth, it gave me a chance or a reason to go out
yeah.
and be around people, because and at times I missed being around people.
And again, it doesn't matter what you do. Like Nana Tink is saying, you got to love what you're doing. You have to, no matter what it is. So if it's not something that's for you and you don't want to get into that, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But what we're talking about today is just basically other avenues of you to be able to make money, and be adventurous and work your own pace. Melanie, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are you doing? Good to see you. And you
Hey,
got,
Melanie.
you know,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, if I can I share some of
Yeah,
my
and if anybody has any questions, please ask away in the chat while Regina's going to show us. Now, remind you, Regina, you're in an old school,
an old school building, yes.
right? So she's going to share with you what she has, and it's multiple
Now,
booths.
if you go to my channel, my very first little video, my first little short, it is I'm showing you I'm going to Old School Antique Mall Flea Market here in Lynn, Missouri. It's just a little short. I drive up, and then I walk in, and then I show you just basically the main hallway, and you'll see that. But I mean, it's 27,000 square feet, so it
Wow.
is a lot of space. People are amazed because when you pull up, it doesn't look as big as what you think it is. But like I said, I think the elementary actually moved out here in 2000 because they built a bigger school and more modern. Because this school was originally built, I think, in the 1940s, the
Oh,
original
wow.
part of it, and they added on. And then I don't know if anybody's heard of Lynn Technical College, Lynn State Technical College. It's a big college that is here in Lynn, Missouri. They had the School of Dentistry in here for a while, so we still even have an old X-ray machine in here. So
Okay.
it costs too much money to take it out because of the chemicals and everything.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's a unique building, and it was born of an idea of another old school in New London, Missouri, that was turned into an antique mall.
What's
So,
up, John? John
Hey,
also has a
Bama.
booth
hey, Joe.
in Alabama. Good afternoon, John. Good to see you. Kim says I do the same. I take pictures of my tables, stands. Yeah, yeah, it's fun. You can also turn it into a video. All right, let's go ahead and add this to the stream,
I'm going to
and I'll
mute.
take that comment off, and I'll mute. Take it away.
Alrighty, so just sharing. This is one. This is starting in one of my. This is a whole room that I have. I have two rooms right next to each other. I think they were um, maybe like counselor rooms or a principal's office. I'm not sure, but this is starting in one of my rooms. These are just some shelving that we built and have moved around and used. Let's see, I can get them bigger if y'all need to see it a little bigger. There we go. Hey, recognize that picture there, Nana? And those things hanging right there. So, and this is our cast iron wall. My husband likes to recondition cast iron. So we have a lot of cast iron. Now this is moving into my holiday room. My holiday room is everything that is holiday. Christmas, Halloween, you name it. So if you've been on some resell, you might recognize some stuff. So I've got a little bit of everything in here. Spring, a lot of Christmas, because everywhere you go, there's Christmas. So I try to sell just some of mine. This is a whole room. Some items that I picked up here and there and everywhere. Yep. I just got all kinds. Christmas to Halloween, Easter. And this is another space I have. This is in a totally different room. I have I'd say about half the room. And you know, said, So that is a whole display. That is all nothing but sheet music and pretty much some pictures that I picked up. All kinds. I have a lot of stuff. Yeah, and I put up this nice little sign. Your spouse called and said, buy anything you want. And then the other side says, what you're thinking about today, you might want to buy, or else the person that was thinking about it yesterday will come back. Something like that. So I said, be creative with your displays. This is another booth in that room, so you could just see, you know, just it gives you an idea what how somebody else may decorate their booth. I just like her booth. This is just someone else's booth, how they in that room on the other side. This is somebody else's booth. I figured I'd share. You know, if you're looking for, you never know what you're going to find in this place. And this is one of theirs, another one. I just love their creative display, how they made it. This is, you know, his shelving unit is all made. I like how he did it. He's got chicken wire there at the top, so he can hang stuff from there. I just find it is really unique. So this is the end of the hallway. So this is another one of this is my display of some of my dolls. I like to sell dolls. I do put stuff on top of my showcase. One of the pumpkins I sold the other day. And you see that display right next to it, to the left. That is a display unit I bought from Mark. That's the first time I met Mark. And
I recognized it.
yeah, you recognize it. So, and this is the showcase there, the long one. That is another one of mine. And if you look really close, there's a bunch of marbles in glass jars in there. Guess where I got those?
I don't have a clue.
Oh yeah, here. So I'll just show you. See, you can see the marbles right in here. Glass jars. Yeah, I bought all those. And this is a lady called up one day and she wanted to sell all her salt and pepper shakers. So I bought her salt and pepper shakers out. So this is in the main hallway. So that's another one of my spaces. Hey, recognize some soap here. This is the type of soap that Nana Tink sells. I found the company, but I just sell it here at in my booth. So here's another room. This is one of my displays. This is all my video game equipment or video games. So I have that. And then I have this display case right next to it. There's just some other small stuff that I like to sell that I need, you know, I don't want it can walk out easily. So I put it in there, you know, especially like stamps and things like that. So I don't want it to walk out in someone's pocket. So I got some old, you know, lures in there, just some different stuff. You know, and this is stuff that I don't want to walk out, stuff I can't sell on YouTube, of course, because of the toy guns, toy pow-pows, toy pews. So I just more delighted display so I could show you. I had the lights on. I sold some of them salt and pepper shakers the other day. The wreath back behind there, I ended up buying that from, they used to hang in JCPenney's in Columbia, Missouri. The store manager was selling a bunch of stuff off. So, all right, this is another lady's booth that is right in the room right next to mine. She sells a lot of Fenton, so you can just see some of her display. Like I said, and this is another room. This is we have a local guy that supports the VFW. So all these books, he goes to and he donates it and helps support the VFW. That is in Lynn, Missouri. And then we have showcases with all kinds of vintage toys. All right, so we bought a soda machine. So this is our soda machine. It is from the 1970s. So this is the only way we could sell anything that is drinkable or consumable in the antique mall. We don't have to have a license for this because it's pre-bottled stuff. You know, we can in ours we cannot sell anything that is consumable, spices, food, or anything like that. And this is another one in another space of mine that is at the other end of the school. And there's my VHS movies that I sell. We sell a lot of them. And then we put up that for more pictures and displays. So like I said, we sell a lot of those. We're always restocking those. Just another one of my spaces. I have a big space in here, and then this whole area is mine. I sell golf balls. I have books over here. This area, we have plants back over here. We have a lady that sells plants, and all this space right over here. I've since filled up this shelving unit since I took this picture of kids' books. I end up getting a whole bunch for free. So I sell it for reasonably priced. As you can see, I have a wide variety of items. And I get creative. Yeah, this whole space right back here is mine. And then across the, there. Just some of my display. I put toys, cheap toys, keep the kids entertained. You never know. Parents got a crying kid. And this is our lady that sells plants. It's a very popular room. So we have a lot of people that come in just specifically to buy the plants. And I like being in there because it attracts a lot of people to that area.
That is so cool.
And this is another one. This is another room that attracts a lot. So these ladies, they make all kinds of items, but as you can see, they have a very beautiful display, and it's a lot of stuff that they have in here.
Yeah.
Kitchen items. They make these little pumpkins that's right there, but and they sell a lot. I mean, they do. Yeah, this is another of their spaces, so you can see, how creative they get with their displays. They use the bottom of a old bed, and here's
You just got to be creative.
You got to be creative, and they sell a lot. Like right here, they got a clothing rack that's all linens, all kinds of linens. From your tablecloths to your
Curtains.
linen you can think of. They have. Like I said, I'm just showing you some of their display.
You have a question. Where is this at?
This is in Lynn, Missouri. The name of the antique mall is Old School Antique Mall and Flea Market.
That's where Regina has her stuff at.
Right. Yeah, it's right at about 2 minutes east of Jefferson. If you're going from Jefferson City, where we're pretty much in the middle of the state, to Highway 50, like you're going towards St. Louis. We're right on the highway because the highway goes right through the middle of Lynn. So we are. This is in just another area of their display. I bought some great stuff from them. And this is just more of their holiday area that they've got. They have about, I would say, 90% of this room that they have stuff in. And this is just another booth in our area. This is another person that does a lot of high volume sales, and she comes in weekly and revamps her items and just sells a lot of stuff. And she brings in a lot. This is another one of her booths. She brings all kinds of stuff. I can get a little closer here for you to see. So like I said, you just move your stuff around, dust it, and bring great items. And this is another one of our vendors that he does pretty much just all like video games, but he's a nerd about it. So he will, he makes sure everything's clean and working, and he does a high volume of sales of just video games. And that's just another one of his displays. So he brings a lot of pop culture is what he brings. And then we've got this lady she's one of our newer vendors, and she does the gore and this sort of stuff, and there's a lot of people that love this kind of stuff. My daughters love this kind of stuff. So I just thought it was unique so you could see just the wide variety of items that we have in the store. And then, of course, we have a coin seller, and he does a very high volume, especially right now, So he sells all kinds of coins, and he just has this small little case. That is it. That's all he's got. But he does a lot, and that's all I have. So I will stop sharing.
And as of this morning, silver is now $48.17 an ounce.
And he does a lot of volume.
All right, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now I found the pictures I was looking for. and I won't have any volume on it. All right, let me stop this one, add this one. All right, we're going to start with the pictures. This is what I started with back in 2019. It was basically a corner shelf, and I was able to add and hang stuff on the sides of these shelves. This is what I was paying $35 a month for. So I even covered the shelves with wrapping paper, like silver foil wrapping paper. And I also used other shelvings within the shelvings to add more height to stuff. So this is one of, and in this particular booth, for some reason, every time I put a vintage camera or camcorder in this booth, it sold fast. Why, I don't know. But that was one of the things I sold a lot in this booth. Then I moved to this booth where I basically, it's a small little space. I only had this shelf, and this shelf right here. It was a very small booth. But that's how I got myself started, from the bookshelf to this one. And that's that sewing machine I told you about that the lady told me, I don't know why you got it in it, because it won't sell. It only took 3 weeks to sell it, $325. But again, a lot of this stuff sold really fast. Like these old suitcases, they call them train cases, where you basically carry it on the train, little cases. That sold for really fast. Then I went from this booth, I got into this, and this is a small video. This is my glass case. It's a double-sided, double piece. It's a double case. And this is what I had put in it. And this is the one that I sell a lot of Fenton or glassware. And that is full. And I also put old vintage jewelry in this. But this booth here is one of my biggest seller booths right here. That was a vintage glove case for gloves. So that's one side, and that's the other side. I have jewelry displays, different things with jewelry and rings. There's me right there taking the pictures. And you have to be very creative and add what you can, displays to bring height to things. And it does work. Now, the next one I'm going to show you. This is the booth I just got out of. This is the one I just closed because they keep going up on the rent. This is the one that was a 12 by 20. If I get it to start playing. Come on. And this is the one they keep going up on the rent, so I got out.
All right. Another recap update on my booth. Add more stuff. Move more stuff. Rotate stuff out. Fill up the shelves.
And those were corner shelves that filled up really quick.
This is the last day of January 31st, 2025.
I even used the back walls to hang stuff.
So I gotta bring some more jewelry.
The jewelry in this booth, for some reason, sold fast.
Got an empty box in there so I can reuse it. Somebody must have bought the jewelry but left the box because these are all locked.
That hood sold.
So refill the shelves and refill the...
That's an old watch display case.
Fill this up with some more stuff. Another glass locked key, plastic actually. So I gotta move around some stuff. Added some more stuff at the top.
That's the cubes that I use.
Little lamps. Little cubes. Way more stuff. And that's this booth.
And so again, that was the last booth that I had that I stopped, just got out of. All right, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Can y'all hear? Okay. So that's basically how I've been. Those pictures I just showed you was at Oh My Gosh Antiques and Collectibles, where I started. And again, I started with one bookcase and then went into a bigger booth. And that's what I recommend. Starting with something small, get your feet wet, see what's moving. If you need to go into a bigger booth, if you need bigger items to sell things. I like when people decorate their booths. Looks like the room. Yep. Good night, Jeffrey. I'm a doll collector too. Mia, good to see you. Don't forget, Mia does go live at 6 o'clock, but we'll be rating her. Very nice booth. Mia also got a nice size booth that she upgraded to in her area, the same place we're both at. She can spend a full day at your place, Regina. Yeah, I can see that too.
It does take, if you want to see everything and look through everything, you're looking at 4 or 5 hours minimum. You know, a lot of times a lot of people come in because when you walk in the front door, you either go left or right. So, you know, depending on which way you go, they're like, we got half of it done. We're going to go eat some lunch and we're coming back. Or or we're going to have to come back another time and do the other half, you know. But you'll
For
still
me,
have,
I rent the case, and I rent that for $65 for the glass case. What about you? Do you own those glass cases?
I own the cases. The big one that I had my video games in was another vendor's. They were selling out. They were getting ready to quit the business, so I bought it at a very cheap price. I got it for like $75, which was
Well,
a
Wow.
great.
darn.
That's a great price, yeah. And then my other one that I have the dolls in, the vendor was selling it because he was bringing in a different one. So unfortunately, when we were moving it, we broke a door. So we just took the doors out for now until we can buy a new door. But glass is so expensive right now, so we're like, we'll just do without it for right now. So, but we're working on moving a bunch of stuff out and trying to bring new in because some of that stuff's been there for a little while. So it's time
Like
to.
for example, with John, he does really well with his Auburn stuff in his booth where he's at. But again, you gotta keep it up, you gotta keep it filled, and you gotta keep it moving and keep it clean. And the more you have, the more you're gonna sell.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to get started in something like this because it can be a good little extra thing for you to have income. But it's just a matter of keeping it up. You got to keep it dusted and clean and move things around. Don't be afraid.
And
And
if
if
you want to, start like you did with eBay or things you got around the house you're not using,
yep,
if they allow clothing or stuff, that's a good way to move your clothing if you don't want to have a garage sale, you know.
yep, you got to move your stuff around. That's the only way you're gonna get it. Because some people you don't know how often people go in there every week.
Oh,
And that's why I go in my booth every Sunday to update mine.
yeah, and we have resellers that come in, and because some of our vendors have really great prices or low prices, so they get it, buy it to resell in their shops or online, or so some of my stuff is higher price, some of it's lower price. That way, if some I make a profit, long as I make a profit, if someone else wants to resell it and make a profit, I'm cool with that. It's fine with me. That way, if you buy it, I can put something else there.
And also, don't be afraid to go shopping in these antique booths, in these antique mall and locations, because a lot of times some of these people are putting things down or discounted. I have a couple of places I like going because every time I go in there, it's always 50% off. You just
Yeah,
never
we
know.
got one vendor. She runs a consistent 40% off all year long.
Yep.
And she said that's her mad money is what she calls it to afford to buy other things that she sells on eBay for higher
Right.
prices. So
Right.
some of the items that you've seen me when I said I bought it at my antique mall, well, this is where I bought it. I bought it at her booth a lot of times, and I got it at a great price. And I've sold it on eBay or somewhere else, and I got a great profit. I got just the other day, I got a little bag of marbles out of her booth for $3, and 5 of them were glowing. So I know the glowy ones sell for a better price. So I will save them
Okay.
up, and put them with some others and turn around and put them in my booth for a higher price.
And Mia actually does really well in her booth, and I always check her booth out. She always has jewelry jars of different sizes and different prices. So that's another thing you can do too.
Yeah, that
Uh,
jewelry jar that I got from oh, they just quit your show.
yep, that's true, Ron. It's true. Right before the rent is due,
Yeah,
you have to.
I just sold a jewelry jar for a
Yep,
great price.
you have to. You never know how many people are going to go in there on a weekly basis. You don't want them to see the same thing in the same spot every time.
Yeah, the jewelry jar I got from Debbie and Max. I went through it. I looked at it. I'm like, well, no, I don't want to deal with it. Put it back in the jewelry jar, sealed it back up, put it in my booth for like $10 higher than what I paid for it.
Right. And you can be very creative with that too. So,
Yeah.
Mark, what is it you typically put in your booth or in your glass case?
It's mainly glass. However, Michael's been on me that maybe I ought to. Christmas is going to be coming before we know it, and maybe we might need to thin the Annalise out a little bit.
That's true.
So
You know?
I think we're gonna. I need to get my tags made.
Yeah, because I used to go every Sunday, and I always try to bring different things. Now that I have more room after, again, I love it because these things are selling. So sometimes you have to bring variety of stuff, not just all one thing.
Yep.
You just never know what somebody's looking for. And also, vintage records do well. Vinyl records, albums,
Yes.
that does really well in most places as well too. Another good point. We change some items when seasons change. That's true too. Holidays. That's right.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to put different holidays out as well.
Yeah, for a while I would bring a whole bunch of Christmas in when it was getting closer to Christmas, and then I would take it out after Christmas. But now this time, since I got well, I call it my holiday room, because at first we just had everything in there, a mix of everything, just like all our other spaces. And I'm like, this time I decided, nope, I'm just going to leave it as a holiday room. My Christmas stays in there all year long.
Okay.
Because well, if you're collecting Christmas, you're collecting it all year long.
Right. Well, look at our oh my gosh, antiques and collectibles. There's several booths that are all Halloween because the owner of the location also does a special in October and November where she'll open those booths. Those are her collections. They're never for sale, but they're more like a display. So what she does is she opens them twice a year, and then they do an open house. Right, then you can go in there and visit those spaces. I don't go in all that because it's too dingy and dark and can't move around in there. But that's the owner that does that. We just put out a lot of Halloween items last week and have to great sales. Okay, I got to put out some more Halloween stuff too. But yeah, it's fun. It can be fun, but it is also a lot of work. Don't let it fool you.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
the more you do it, the easier it's going to get with you. But you got to be consistent.
we tell our vendors at least come in a minimum once a month. Minimum. That's the bare minimum. Because, we don't want to hear you complaining, I ain't making no money. I'm having to pay rent every month. Well, when's the last time you come in and worked your booth? Moved stuff around, brought something new in, took some old stuff out, moved it around. Minimum once a month. Otherwise, you're not going to make no money because people will overlook your booth because you've got the same stuff in there. Our regulars that come in
Right.
all the time, they're looking
Yep.
for new stuff.
Yep. And you want to be consistent with that too. Just don't do it like Regina said, minimum once a month. I go
Minimum.
every week. Now, on the other location, now that I don't have two booths at a time no more, I can go down and not have to go every week. I can go every other week because it's a glass case now. So you got to do what's best for you. I would say at least once a week. Yep, I go every Sunday at mine. Seven Stacks, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. So if anybody has any questions having to do with getting into an antique booth or a display of some sort of location, that's what we're here to do today. We're here to hopefully inspire you. If you have any questions about it, let us know by asking in the chat, and we'll be glad to answer them for you. Regina, while I know you have to go, you can't stay longer than usual because of the fact you have another show coming up.
Yeah.
While I drop links in the chat, tell everybody a little about where you're going to be, what you got going on, and who you collaborate with during the week.
All right. Well, tonight, right after I leave here, I'll be going over to Janine's channel, and I will be on with her and Denise's Magical Emporium. And it's me, Angie. We do our Monday night sale from 6 p.m. to about 8 p.m. or so. And then once a month, on the first Tuesday of each month, I'm on with Ellen's Enchanted Emporium, which will be tomorrow. We are on at 2:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be on till whenever we decide to stop. And we do a Tag Team Tuesday sales. And then every Wednesday, I am on right here on with Johnny and on the Hump Day auction. I am a permanent co-host. And thank you very much, Johnny. And then let's see, I also Ellen on Ellen's Enchanted Emporium. We are doing now on that is the second Sunday of each month, a Drive Across America sale. Well, basically we start on the East Coast with sellers, and then we work our way to the West Coast. And then we fly back to the East Coast and start all over again. So that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we go until we decide to stop, usually maybe around 11 or so. And then on the 14th of this month, I will be on with Friends Selling with Friends. And then we have another sale on Ellen's Enchanted Emporium that will be I think that is the third Thursday of each month. We'll do a get together sale, and we got about 10 sellers. What we'll be doing starting at 2:11 Eastern, I believe, and we'll be selling rounds that way on Ellen's Enchanted Emporium.
All right. And John says, do your research, walk through the store and see what people are selling. Look at the people's shopping carts and also pick up and what they're picking up. Watch the register, what they are buying. I love doing that. And Amy, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are you doing? Good to see you.
Hey,
So we changed the type of our inventory service times several times before rounds. Yeah, you got to. You got to keep it moving. You got to keep it looking fresh. And it's a lot of work, but it's also rewarding too. You got to be able to be ready to put stuff in there. That's one thing I do every Sunday.
Behind me.
And I love it. It gives me something to do. It gets me ready to get more inventory moving, and I get processed stuff and put it on my invoice. Get it in inventory list. It's ready to go.
I got sun shining through, bouncing off the floor.
What?
I got glare going on here.
Oh, I see that. Yeah,
There's a sun. There's a window back there, and the sun
it's
bouncing.
shining bright.
Yeah, bouncing off the floor. There we go.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, not so bad. Oh,
If y'all have any questions, please ask away. That's what we're here for. Don't forget, every Monday we do this at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If there's any special topic you would like us to cover, make sure you email myself or Mark and let us know. We'll be glad to turn it into you having to be, if you want to be a guest and particular topics, let us know. We'll be glad to have you on as a guest as well. There's just another easy way for us to communicate, collaborate, and network with everyone when it comes to other ways of us selling, resourcing, or just relaxing. It does not matter. I am hoping to one day get us. There's going to be someone. Her name is Al. She's in the chat usually. I haven't seen her type in a few minutes, but we're going to have her on when she got all her notes together because she does homemade cooked food for her pets, whether it be your dog, your cat, or even your pet chicken. Any animal pet you have, we'll have that one night as well.
Hey, Aaron.
We have sold 11 items this month so far. Awesome. And then Aaron, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. And how are you doing? Good to see you.
Hat tip, my friend.
So if y'all have any questions, let's get them in the chat so we can get them answered for you. And has anyone in there that's in our chat today has decided to even think about doing something like this? I wish there was a place close to me that I can rent a booth. Yeah, and a lot of times it's the location. They used to have one in the town I live in, but they closed it. And then the furthest one when I first started was 32 minutes away. And now I got one that's even closer now. So
yeah, I drive 40 minutes to get to here. Because the ones in Jefferson City, we only have 2, and they were just impossible to get into. I put my name on a waiting list on one, and they finally called me after a year and a half. Well, I'd already been here, so I'm like, I decided not to. And then when I was in Columbia, that was an hour drive for me.
Just in a rural area, yeah.
Yeah.
It all depends on the location. And Jeffrey said something in reference to where it went. Would you do something? Someone who does something with that's just enjoyable. I don't think we would be able to do something like that. I mean, if anybody wants to do that, that's up to them. But I haven't heard anybody asking for that. Well, Regina, thank you so much for being on here. And then before you go, because I know you have to get ready for you to show your next one at 6.
I'm ready.
What are some of the final tips that you would give somebody who was thinking about getting into any kind of location for reselling in another location, or give us a couple of tips? What do you find?
Research your items. Like I said, like some of the other great tips, look to see what's selling in that location. In our particular area, though, if you have, items that you look up you can try eBay prices, but generally here people are looking for a bargain. So you might not want to price as high as what might be selling on eBay. Maybe a third or half. Is what to me is what typically I find sells faster here. Um, Now, if it's your true antiques, the 100-year-old and stuff, those I price accordingly. So, but other than that, if you're looking to sell stuff fast, price it a lot lower, and then watch your booth, clean it, dust your items, move it around. Those are the best tips I can give is just move it around, because what they might, someone might not look down, or you move it up, or you move it to a totally different shelf, or then you'll find it may sell because they're like, I didn't see it that time. Well, they saw it the next time.
You brought up a good point about pricing too, because I see a lot where even in some of the booths that I go to in one location where they'll even have a printout of it. This is what's selling on eBay. But when I look it up, no, that's what they're asking for. That's not what they're selling for. So
Right.
yeah, I stay away
Yeah.
from it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like going to the garage sales that they got a printout of what, oh, this is selling on eBay for this. That's selling price. That's not what actually
I
sold.
actually I even taught somebody about that because she did not know the difference. And she said she didn't realize that it was what they were asking, not what they sold it for. Little Debbie says, so many places here. As a matter of fact, Brian, Mr. Buys a lot. His sister runs a real nice antique mall close to me. Awesome. John says, we even use our booth as a pickup location for local sales. And I just found out about that at my location that I can do that now. So I'm looking forward to getting that done. That's it, right, Jeffrey. I understand. No problem. Good night, everyone. All right, Heather, have a good night. I would
Night,
love
Heather.
some idea or tips on how to keep smalls and inventory, organizing ideas for things that I have listed. Okay, that'd be a good show topic. But she also asked me one day if I knew him. I was filming in there shopping friend. Like, yeah, I know him. Yeah, right. Who doesn't know Mr. Buys a lot, Brian? The worst thing is the yard sales where they change eBay price. Yeah, and I had
Yeah.
to teach it. I had to tell that to one lady, and I was like, "Look, I'm sorry, but I can't pay this because that's what they're asking for. Anybody can ask for a price. It doesn't mean that's what."
Have you looked at the sold comps?
Yeah.
Well,
That's what
what's that?
we tell people, that you can't sell stuff in here what it might be selling on eBay, because people around this area that are, or they come through, because we get a lot of traffic that are going from St. Louis to Kansas City back and forth, because Highway 50 runs right through the state, middle of the state, or they're going to the Lake of the Ozarks here. So, we tell them, when they come through, they're not looking for eBay prices. They're looking for, lower prices, but at least, make it comparable, not brand new prices, but not, you don't want dirt cheap either, but make it
I
comparable.
agree, John.
I'm the
Yeah.
same way, John. But also for me in my antique boots, a lot of times if I cannot find it, or I might find one of them like it and make sure it's exactly what I have on eBay, then I'll price it accordingly to what I do find that's sold.
Right.
But a lot of times, if you find a lot that's listed, yeah, I would go at least half of what it's sold for, or at least double than what I paid for it.
You can find some good deals.
Yeah.
You can find some good
Oh,
deals.
yeah. Don't be afraid to shop either.
Yeah, that's what I usually price mine at least half of what it might be selling on eBay.
Mhm.
Or, if I got it for a really cheap price, like my DVDs, I try to buy them 50 cents or less. Maybe 60 cents might be my top. Then I sell them for like $1.99.
Right.
And that way people are coming looking for movies, or, and we sell a lot. We
But
sell a
that's a
lot.
good point though, because you can still have low price items in your booth, but also have higher priced items because somebody may see that while they're looking at it and still pick up something that's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
Don't be
So,
afraid to put both
you know,
high and
and
low dollar stuff. Because I have a lot on my booth with jewelry that's all prices. It's not just anything. My pet peeve is when the seller tells me, "But you can find your money back." Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. You expect to pay more at a booth than the yard sale? Not really. Not on everything.
Amy,
Right.
Well, now Regina's mentioned Midway a couple of times, so I'm gonna. Michael and I were just there. I mean, literally just there a couple of days ago, and I wish that I had taken a picture of it. They had the top of an amber fairy lamp, the bigger ones, and the bottom of a uh, it's the Indiana Diamond Point Kindle holder. They had placed the fairy lamp top on that, and they had their sticker on it for $90.
Oh wow.
And the two of them don't even belong together. Regina, it was clear in the back.
yeah,
Amy would like to know: do you sell your DVDs individually or in lots?
individually. Now, if it's a series, the most I think I've priced mine was $4, and that's because it's a series. So there might be like if it's like season one of whatever, I might put $4 on it, and that's the highest price I have on my DVDs. So and the rest of them are, I think some of the kids ones I might do $1, but everything else is pretty much just $1.99.
And it is a good point, John, because again, you don't want to put everything high dollar, but you want
Right.
to have something that'll bring them in. Like in my booth, if you saw the one I have my new booth in with the two lamps, when you first walk in, that first jewelry display, it's all different prices. I even got stuff as low as $7 for jewelry. But I also have a smaller case is displayed that even has less than that. So I have a variety and bigger price items, and so you got to have all the different prices in there because those smaller price items will bring somebody in for buying something else. Yes, you did say $1.99. That's right. Why I do just like if someone breaks or
Yeah.
something, you just ought to look. Yeah, but I keep track of that on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, so I know. But if you do keep track of it, and for example, I don't know about y'all, but for me, I don't get aggravated because again, if I see something in my booth that doesn't belong to me, I just bring it back to that booth. That's just the way I do things. But there has been for the where I'm at, oh my gosh, for example, something got disappeared. I couldn't find it. It wasn't in my booth. I turned it into the main office. Not even a month and a half later, somebody found it in somebody else's booth and brought it to mine because it was my booth item. So again, it can happen where somebody gets it, and if they don't go to their booth on a regular basis, they won't know that their stuff that's not for them. So again, that's why it's good to go on a regular basis because you can also take that out of there. And again, it's as long as it's still in the building, I'm okay with it. But I did report it to the front desk, and then a month and a half, 2 months later, it showed up in my booth again. Somebody brought it back. So you just never know. So yeah, don't get frustrated with it, but it can be fun. But it is a lot of work. But you got to be able to put that work into it and have fun with it. Whatever
And
you
it's like
can.
we do tell our vendors, and it's even in the application slash contract, you know, renting your spot is just like renting anything else. You might want to think about putting renter's insurance because the insurance for the building will cover the building, but it doesn't cover your individual items. So if you have expensive items, you might want to put some insurance on it in case it does get stolen or broken. You can file a claim if you want to do that. So I look at that's why I don't put anything real expensive in my booth. If it is expensive, it's going in a lock case.
Yep.
That way it doesn't, one of us has to be the one to open it, and then it's not handled by every person that comes around.
Exactly. And that's why I have the glass lock case at one location because that's where I put a lot of stuff where they got to unlock it. And also, the good thing about it, if you have a locked case, put a note in there, and you can even put the phone number at the desk where they can call the front desk and ask for that key for that booth. Put a note on the door on the glass case saying, "Call this number and ask for." That way, they didn't got to go all the way to the front and ask for somebody if there's somebody not walking around.
I'm
Because
gonna
you can
mention
just call on the phone. Because everybody 9 times out of 10, that somebody in that booth is going to have a phone. Trust me. So yeah, put
Yep.
a phone number saying, "Call this number and ask for this key booth," and they'll come to the booth for you. Yeah, do that and see how well that works for you. Don't worry about not having a locked case. They can work for you. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I learned that from Glenn Swamp Picker. He made that comment one day when we were first talking about this years ago, and he said that's what he does, and so I do.
Bad idea because unfortunately, and even though we still have speakers up, like front of the old intercom system, it was taken out. So the speakers are there, but the wires are not. So we can't even use the intercom system that used to be here. Like,
That'd have been cool, I bet too.
oh, that would be so sweet if they would have left that in there. So
Now,
they
I
could.
did have to say, we went to Vermont to the big antique mall there, and they have in every aisle that you go to down the aisle, there's a button, and then when you hit that button, it brings a notification to the desk of what aisle you're on. That somebody, because they got a lot of people walking around there, and so they'll come and meet you there and get you wherever you need. Yeah. All right, Jeffrey, have fun. You have been to Jeffrey.
All right, well, I'm gonna get going. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you, Jennifer, Regina, and Jennifer's been dropping the link for you also for the show you're going on next.
All right.
Thank
Mark,
you.
have a good evening.
All right, you too, hon.
Thank you, Regina. All right, so have you been to Jeffrey's in Leominster? No, I have not. Not that I know of. Where in Leominster? Leominster is how I guess they pronounce it here. You can also rent alarm tags to get them. Really? I never heard of that. Renting alarm tags to put on your items too. I didn't know that. Around 12? It's a what is that? Oh, you know what? I think I have. It's at an antique corner. It's like in the corner. I think I have been. That's why I tried getting a booth at before, and they never called me. So I went to a different location. I think I have. Now that you're saying that, I think I've been there. I believe it's an antique. I'm gonna look. I think I have. I'm looking it up right now in Leominster, Ister, if I can spell it correctly. Leominster, Mass. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Where it went? Yes, that's the place I tried getting an antique booth at, and they never called me. Yep, I have been there, Cheryl. Yeah, but I had yeah. I've been there before, and that's where I first started putting my name down for a booth, and they never called me. Never called me. I'd keep going in there, nothing. So I just stopped going in there. And it's like every time I would go in there, it was empty booths, but they would never call me. So I said, okay, never mind. I'll find somewhere else. Yeah, I have been there. Yes, that's right, Jeffrey. Be careful walking in the dark. Well, it's a harvest moon tonight. It's a full harvest moon. Yeah. Yeah, I've been there. They were very rude. Never called me, but they were really quick to take your money though when you bought stuff. But yeah, they never called me.
Yeah, we ran into one of those on our little trip this last week too.
Yeah.
It
And I think what it is too, even if you try to get in there, that's the hardest thing, trying to get into a location. But what I found at that particular location is that every time I would see empty booths, it was because somebody else was moving from one location in there to that bigger location. So that's why I was never able to get my feet in there, because they were always moving people around, or people were renting multiple booths at one time.
I think it's your looks.
Oh, well,
They didn't want people like you in there.
that's all good because I found 2 other locations. So I'm doing better now than I was before anyways.
There you go.
That's the way I look at it. You know what I'm saying? And I told that to Robert. I said, every time we go down, leave your name and number. So I leave my business card. I told Robert, well, evidently it wasn't meant for me to be there, you know?
Yep.
But again, you got to look at it as, if you can't get your feet in the door, don't worry about it. Go somewhere else. Because the location is a big part.
Absolutely. We've done business with quite a few.
Yes, I
of the.
have. I sure have, Cheryl. I've even been to the one in Vermont. They got some good nice ones in Vermont. Yep.
But as far as our location, Elsie Bell's, 2 miles up the road.
Yeah. That's what I figured. But anywho, I left them my name, my number, my phone, and my business card, but they never
I
called me. So I was
I
fine.
think it was the beard, Jennifer.
Well, they're lost.
There you go.
I actually we've been traveling. And there's an Amherst here in Mass as well. We've been to a couple of places there as well. But yeah, I'll even like the one that was an Amish country in Vermont that we went to. I love going there. We need to go back over there again. It's been a while, but I love it up here. It's nice little drives. It's in the country. And they have some great places up here. And if you'd like to take a day trip or a weekend trip somewhere, it's New England has got a lot of places, but it's a matter of getting there on time before they get too busy. Because even the one in we went to in Vermont, they it's 3 floors, but they also have a whole strip mall full of different shops as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, you just got to get your foot in the door, and you got to try to remember to look at location, do your homework about the place, and see if they're busy, what day of the week they're busier, and check and see, if it's worth you getting a booth there, and get to find out what are their rules, what they charge you. For me, in all the places I've been to, it's like your first month, you have to put the first month down, and then when you make a full month, sometimes if it's in the middle of the month, they will prorate your rent for that month, and then the next month you just pay your rent of whatever you sold. That comes off, and then you get the balance. Unless you don't make your rent, then you have to pay the difference. There are a bunch in New
So
Hampshire. You right about that, Cheryl?
the way Deb does it is you've got from the 1st to the 5th to pay your rent. And then on the 15th is when she writes out a check.
Oh, okay. Well, both of mine are on the 7th of the month. We got until the 7th. Well, you can't pay it until the 7th. In other words, they close their books out for the month, and then if you owe anything, you have to pay by the 7th. But you have until the 15th to pay. You got 7 days to pay. If not, then you got charged late fees if you owe your rent. But if you get money coming to you, then you got to wait till the 7th, and they cut your check at one location or the other one to give you cash. So,
Hmm.
but both locations are different, but they're both due on the 7th. They close their paperwork on the 7th. You either pay or you collect your money. Either way. All right, we got somebody joining us who has a booth, and he's from Bama. What?
Hey, Bama.
What's up, John? You're on the big screen, dude.
What do I do with my hands?
Uh,
How are y'all?
Good, and you?
Oh, just glad to be home, man. Just doing a little work, and I saw that you were talking about booths, so
Yes.
I was working on booth stuff while we were talking.
Hard in charge. That's right, Jennifer.
I haven't been on here in a while.
Y'all may not realize John also has a full-time job, and he does this part-time with his wife.
Yes, we still believe in the part-time hustle.
That's right.
It still does well for us, and that's one of the reasons why we started when we did our channel. I haven't had much time, but was to encourage people. You don't have to be a full-time reseller to resell.
That's right.
And you can get some extra money and pay for things that you desire. You don't have to have them, but you desire to have them. And so that was one of our major reasons for starting, is just to be able to have some extra cash so we could go on vacations, and like we do our Christmas stuff that we always do. But and then you get hooked on it and you just can't stop. So
when I first met John on his channel, I got hooked by him they were doing a Christmas where they did the thing where they would go out. They had a limit, and then they also bought for each other. In other words, they had a limit, but they were using the money that they sold from reselling to do the shopping for each other, which is pretty cool. Go watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I got hooked on watching John's channel.
Yeah, we still do that. Amanda and I have been doing that. Oh my goodness, for probably 20 years or more. As far as
Yeah,
just
y'all just
doing
made
that
25
tradition.
years anniversary, didn't y'all?
Yeah, we did it on one Christmas where we forgot to get stocking stuffers. And so we ran out real quick to a store and we said, I tell you what, here's $20. I'll take 20. Let's just see what we buy each other. And it just turned into a tradition. And our boys have done it every year. They're now 21 and 17. And so it's fun, just a little tradition that we like to do. And so we thought we would add it to the channel. I've
Also,
thought
because
about,
of that extra play money.
yeah. We did it before play money, but now we can do it without having to go in our real money. So, because it gets a little more expensive the more kids you have. And then they start bringing their girlfriends and, all that stuff. And you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But
It adds up.
we've had fun. I had a lot of fun doing the YouTube, but just haven't had time since the kids have been growing up and all. And, Eli's a senior this year. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yep.
And so he's anyway. I talked to Amanda about wanting to get back on here and do some more. I haven't stopped reselling. I just stopped.
It doesn't sound like he's from Bama.
Who said that?
Cheryl.
Well, there's a reason for that, but anyway, I was born in Alabama, but I wasn't raised in Alabama.
But watch his channel, you'll see. Yeah.
Now, some country does come out every once in a while. I ain't gonna lie to you. But yeah, I try to be a little proper, and Amanda makes sure of that more than anything.
How's she doing?
Oh my goodness, she's a mess. She's a mess.
She must be at work.
No, she doesn't work. That's the problem. Is you're gonna get me in trouble, man. She's doing great. She's in there reading. She's awesome.
I love Amanda. She keeps you busy and on your toes.
For 30 years, bro. 30 years of this. You gotta watch out. She'll pop out of nowhere. I'm telling you.
You better be careful there, John.
Lately? It's when she puts him in listing jail where he's got a list before he buys
yeah, I'm in that right now, by the way.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Cheers.
Right, exactly, Jennifer. She'll be popping up in there in no minute and you can see.
Yeah, you're like, wow, in the back of the head. Yeah, she's doing really good. We're both having to come to terms that, we may be empty nesters before too long, and just a whole transition in our life. And so we're enjoying more and more time alone, basically, sitting at the dinner table.
Oh, they got stuff to do. That's a lot more important than mom and dad. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. And so we're having more time alone and figuring
that out.
They're not youngins
anymore.
Do what?
They're not them youngins anymore.
No, they're not. And it's I always try to tell people, man, you have to continue to date the person that you're with, because one day you're going to end up having to date them again when everybody leaves. You better keep knowing who they are. Don't lose focus.
Jennifer says just more room to resell. That's why he's in trouble now.
See, don't tempt me, because I've already looked at some empty rooms that are going to come available.
When they move out. That's right.
So
John was too young to be an empty nester. Oh,
God
yes.
Bless you. Oh, if you can receive it, receive it. It's I appreciate that. But it's coming before we know it.
Yeah, I don't know when he was in junior high.
Actually, if you go back and look at some of our videos, you'll see Eli. And for those who don't know who we are, he started out before even his voice changed. So you see him growing from this little boy who would go up and get the deals of a lifetime by just blinking his little eyes and go, "Would you take $1 for this?" And up to this little young man that he is now.
And I do recommend y'all do watch the videos even older, because the kids at that time were even going out reselling as well at garage sales, wherever they would go. And yeah.
Yeah. So they don't go with me much anymore. They got their own little lives and busy things happening, but every once in a while he'll go out there with me. And
Ryan says he's seen the homecoming photos over on Facebook this weekend. Yes, I did too.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God,
I had to double take to make sure that's who it was.
man! I don't want to tell his business or nothing, but he is head over heels,
Oh,
and I can't blame him. She's a beautiful girl. He's done well. He's doing good in football. They really are doing real good this season. He's overcome that surgery he went through.
okay.
And he's made a full recovery and just
Well,
having
that's
a good,
good.
good time.
Yeah, because sports can put you down sometimes, and you got to be ready to get
Yeah,
back in shape.
he had a season-ending baseball injury last year. First game of the season, had to go in for surgery on his knee, and didn't know if he was going to be able to play sports anymore.
I remember that.
And that was a rough time for him because that's really, since he's been 5 years old, that's all he's wanted to do is play sports.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for him, and yeah, just he's a good-looking young man. He is. Thank you. He's a polite young man, or he will be a goodbye young man. So I try to raise him right. So
Well, John, do you have any tips that you would like to share with others? Because we get ready to end the show. We have a couple of channels that we can raid, like Janine's and also Mia, Crazy May Stash. We'll go live at 6. We want to make sure to raid them both. So any tips you would like to share before we end the show?
I would say, I put some in the comments. The basic thing is like you said, a lot of great stuff has come out. Start small. Don't try to open the biggest booth they have. Start small. Be willing, if you have to, take a little bit of a loss in the beginning until you get your feet underneath you and find out what's selling for you. I always look around to see what everybody else is selling. I don't want to sell the same items, but I also want to see what type of customers come into this mall, because they're different parts of the country are going to be different. You have different types of tastes. So you want to see what's going on here. And, with us, we found out with a collegiate, Auburn University, we just started putting Auburn stuff and it just started flying off the shelf.
Right.
And we've been there for over 2 years and we've never had to pay a dime. I mean, it's always paid rent plus money. We're over $1,000 a month in revenue. So when you find it, go for it. Don't be scared of it. And it's a fun thing. It's fun. Just like you said, keep going up there, checking on it, move stuff around, and that's all. I mean, a lot of good man.
Mark, any tips you want to give out before we end the show?
We've covered it. Weekly. Go at least weekly.
Yeah.
Move it around. Make your tags so that they can be seen.
Yeah.
Like I said, I type mine out on a dyno.
We got big tags. Our store will sell us the tags cheaper than we can print them.
Oh, okay.
So I just buy them from them.
There you go.
And if you've got horrific handwriting or not. Find somebody that can print better than you can.
Yeah.
If you're not printing them.
That's right.
I have horrific handwriting. That's why they need to be read.
And I'm very picky when I'm writing, and if I do, I automatically flip it over and use the other side. Because that's just me. I'm picky with my handwriting when it comes to writing those tags. But I can write slow and easy where it's readable, and I love it. But you got to enjoy it. You got to love what you're doing and find the right location, and it can work for you. But start small.
Yep. That's
Don't try to go into the biggest booth they got, because I guarantee you got to make sure you like it. Are you going to have enough inventory to fill it up? Are you going to be able to go in weekly and clean it, move it, dust it, that kind of thing?
I think I have enough inventory.
Yeah, I do too.
I do too.
I am so happy to say I'm finally making a dent in my inventory. Thank God. With these booths, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
So everyone, thank y'all so much. Don't forget, Jennifer has dropped the links for Crazy May Stash Mia. She goes live at 6, and also Janine's auction at 6. So let's go ahead and raid both of them if you can, because I know sometimes we can do both. We can have multiple tabs, Also, don't forget, we do our morning shows Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with Mark and I as the Morning Boost. That's at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Jamie, thank you so much. Good night. Everybody have a great, learn a lot. Well, thank you so much. That's what we plan on doing every Monday night. So if there's any particular questions, Warcraft, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. Good to see you. Wanted to come in and say hi before you go. Well, thank you so much. Good to see you. So as I say before you end each and every show, love always, love is always free. Please be kind to one another till we meet until another chat. Have a blessed and fabulous day until we meet again. Later. Peace out. And y'all come back now, you hear?
First in the mornings, originally from the Bayou State of Louisiana. Here at Cajun Roots Reseller, you make me an offer and I'll take it. You got the dollars, go see Johnny, he's got it all. Let him have it with no problem. See the special man.
See the special man.